Hello again. This is Dr. Rand for the Human Freedom Project. As I say always, I'm glad that you're tuning in. It's good to be with you again. I want you to think of this more as you watch me, I want you to think more of this as a counseling session. Something I would be telling my something I would be talking to my clients about. Now today we're going to talk about something that is pretty deep. And before that, I just want to remind you that all of this that I'm talking about is about the Human Freedom Project. And it's about the book, Rebuilding the Wounded Heart, God's Plan for the Restoration of the Soul. That book is available at our website for, I think it's $24.99 for a hardbound copy, or a paperback copy, excuse me, it's not hardbound. And I think it's $9.99 or something like that for PDF. Most people want the $25 one because they like to write all over it. Not that you can't make a copy of the PDF. But just remember that all the proceeds from any of the books that I write, I'm in the process of almost finishing another one on the deeper stuff that we've talked about. All the proceeds go to the Human Freedom Project. So as you do that, just know this, I don't get any money from it. I make money doing my counseling, and my wife, we work together. We do fine. But I think it's so important that we get this method, this systematic method of deliverance that helps people so greatly. I think it's just important to get it out there. So it's not about an economical thing. It's about a spiritual thing. God says this is what we do, and we're more than happy to do it. So I don't know how long we will continue to do these videos. But as long as he keeps telling me to do them, I will. So it's not a labor. It's a labor of love because I love you people. I love my clients. I love my family. And most of all, I love my God. But God has also taught me to love myself. And that's a very important thing. Not to be narcissistic and have the world revolve around you, but to just love yourself. And be kind to yourself and not be so hard and critical on yourself. That's very easy to do. So today we're going to kind of switch gears and get into a pretty deep topic, actually. And over the years, as I've worked with people, as I said during the last video, I've worked with people that were seriously sexual abused, but a lot of people have been programmed by the government in different ways. And they also have computer chips in them. And they have very, very high level spirits that have come into them during rituals. What they do with rituals is all of these spirits that are under Satan's control are all available, but you have to go through various rituals to get them to come inside of you for the first time. They develop an anchor. Once they develop that anchor, and leave during the ritual, after the ritual's over, then anytime you call them, they can come back. So that's how these people tend to have so much power, because Satan has stolen and killed and destroyed to steal God's power. We've talked about that before too. It's called power transfer. And power transfer is the very simple thing of God creates, Satan steals and kills and destroys. So the people I work with on a deeper level will have some of these spirits, and they're what's known as territorial spirits. There's various territorial areas that they're over. We're going to talk about that today. I'm going to show you a little diagram of not only the territories, but also the spirits that are under them. There's some pretty interesting names. But I have run into every one of these names as I've been doing deliverance. So I know they're real. I know that when they were removed, the person was so much different. And so it's more in watching the experience of the person that I know it's true. Could I prove it? No, I can't prove these. Very few, in fact, none of them that I'm going to show you today, except Satan and the Antichrist and the false prophet and the beast, none of them are in the Bible, really. But they all have names. And they all have various powers. And as you go up the line, they become stronger and stronger and stronger. So what I'm going to show you today, and I'll put this in front of you so you can see it. It seems to work best this way. We're going to start at the top. As you see, there's a local area of spirits. Those are basically around your city and county, and maybe even including part of your state. Depending on, in northern Illinois, this is what the names of the spirits are. Over the religious realm, it's Eden. Over the government realm, it's Eli. And over the societal realm, it's envy. Now, that's over this northern Illinois area. So each of these has their own different realm, within the local area. And these guys penetrate the religious realm, the churches. It doesn't have to be Christians, but it's essentially anything to do with religion. And our government, Eli, our society, envy. So then if you go up to the next level, it's 4 states: Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Now, how did I learn that? Well, these spirits would come up, and then I would ask the Lord, said, where are these coming from? And you just keep asking him questions. It's like being a spiritual sleuth. You ask him what it is that they are, what's their name. Of course, here's another thing about knowing the names of these bigger spirits. They're not going to go away. They just go someplace. I don't know where he puts them, but they don't go to the pit when they're bigger, because they have so much territory under them and so much sin under them that it gives them the ability to just go somewhere else. So I don't know where they go. They go to somebody else and bother them, I guess. But the bigger ones, they're around till the end. The smaller ones, they go to the pit. So this is something that's important to remember, that when we deal with territorial spirits, they just move from place to place once they're pushed out. And the more places they get pushed out, the less power they have, but they still have power. And until you remove everything under them, they're not going anywhere except where God tells them to go, but it won't be the pit for this moment. Eventually it will, but not now. Then you go to the Midwest states. If you're living in Illinois, then it becomes the Midwest states. And that's, the Midwest states is basically 13 states. And it's interesting, well, we'll talk about that next. But those are the 3 names of those spirits that are higher than the 4-state demons. And as I say, I've run into every one of them. So I know they're real, and I've seen the difference. Then it goes, let's see. Having a little trouble here. I'll have to keep it back a ways. Then it goes to the regional heads. I'll just stay behind it maybe. The regional heads are 4 different regions. There's the north, the south, the east, and the west. So the regional spirit over the north, which is us, is Nostris. I am going to, there we go, I think I can do it better now. It's Nostris. Nostris means, it's an acronym for no one shall trust. So over the north, there's a lot of trust issues, more so than in some of the other areas. There's trust issues all over, but that is the main spirit over the north. Over the south, it's Sephia. That actually means separated heart. When we are one with Christ, our heart is not separated, but in the south, that is the main thing. In the east, it's Estrom. That's an interesting one. It means everyone shall take rank universal mechanism. Okay, what that actually means is everyone shall take computer chips. And I don't think that's going to happen yet, but it may happen in the future. Because it says in the Word that in the very end times, that people are just going to be, what do they call them, sheeple? They're sheep and they're people, but they just do what they're told. And because they do what they're told, they could have, like through medications or some other source, they could have minor computer chips in them. How do you get a computer chip in you? What I've learned is it's really interesting because a computer chip, a real small computer chip, can be put in, let's say, your nose. And a spirit can take that any place in your brain or your body that it wants to. And when we are praying with some of these deep people that have been in the occult, we can actually pray those out instead of having to dig into the body and remove them. And they feel it's kind of like a fizzing sound inside their head. It makes like a little buzzing noise as we pray, and then Jesus just removes them. There's a long story to that. We're not going to talk about it right now, but you can either trust me or not. It's okay. I just know what my experience is, and it has really made a difference. Okay, the West is wars. It's WARS, warring against religious systems. Any religious system out there is Satan is going to war against, but he's especially going to war against Christianity. So this spirit over the West, and you can see if you look at the West, all across the West Coast, I mean, there's so many different religions, and they intermix, and they cause all kinds of difficulty, and Satan just loves that. When there's an intermix between religions, and you marry, and it causes a lot of difficulty in their marriage because of the different spirits coming from the different religions. So that's an interesting comment on that. Then we have national heads of religion, national heads of government, and national heads of society. So if you're talking about the national spirit of religion, you're basically talking about how religion is looked on in the United States, and that spirit is like the head over all of it. So he trickles down to all manner of different types of religious persuasions and to individual persons, but it's mostly from that level, it's a national thing. So when it gets really bad, it's time for a revival, and right now I think we really need a revival. And that spirit needs to be prayed against, and if you see his name, go ahead and pray against it if you believe what I'm saying. I pray against these people, or these its, that's what I call them, because they cause so much harm. And they're not really humans. They have to use humans to do their dirty deeds. You can see in the government there's a really strong national government spirit that tends to control each particular government, whether they're totalitarian, whether they're democratic, social democratic, whatever term you want to call your government, there is going to be a national spirit over that. Obviously, God needs to be over every one of these, but in this case, the governmental spirit, I am not sure. I think the governmental spirit for the United States is Baal, and Baal is all about materialism. And so the next one is Societal. I mean, all you got to do is look at the national societal realm. You see the media, you see the Hollywood, you see um, the music industry, sports industry. I mean, there's so many aspects to society, and there is always a national head demon over that. So then we go to hemispheres. So that's the next step. Let's see if I can. Here, let's try that. Okay, so the hemispheric heads over the northern hemisphere is Zoar, Zephan, and Zernan. All Z's. Makes you want to go to sleep, right? But Zoar is over the religion, government is Zephan, and Zernan is over society. Now you go to the eastern, it's Sabat, Skore, and Said. Kind of sounds eastern. Western is Curran, Hideon, and Merkur. The southern is Exorn, Exurch, and Uric. I'd never heard of any of these before I found them on people. And then there's the universal system. That's over the second heaven. All of these guys, this level here, our battle is not against flesh and blood. It's against the powers and principalities in the high places. The high places are the universal realm. And if you look at the universal realm, you will see that any of these spirits can be called into if once they have been put inside of a person. Otherwise, they can't come into a person. Now, the Asir is something that is very common, a common term for the gods of the Scandinavian area. But in this sense, what God has is he has his throne in heaven. That's the third heaven. And he has representatives of each of the tribes of Israel, 12 of them. And he has the 12 apostles sitting around him or before him or however that works. And what Satan does is he has what's kind of known as a Cadillac mentality. And that Cadillac mentality says, I'm better. His pride gets the best of him, and he's always got to do better. So the Asir, he's got 30 strong demons that sit around him. And those 30 strong demons are very strong, and they all have, it's Satan, the Antichrist, the false prophet. It's like a false trinity, the beast. There's, and you got Beelzebub, you got Belial, you got Leviathan. I can't remember all 30 of them right now. But those major ones, they all have major territorial ownership, and they work their way down through the rest of this. And then finally, you have the false prophet, Satan, and the Antichrist, and those are considered the false trinity. So as we look at the false trinity, we see that it's a fake trinity. You got Satan representing God. You got the false prophet. It's the three stations: prophet, priest, and king. They mock the prophet, priest, and king. And God is a prophet, priest, and king, and it takes three of them to try to mock it, and they don't do a very good job of it. But they sure fool a lot of people, let's put it that way. So Satan is counterfeit. He looks at each one of us, and he says, I know what I need to do with you. I need to figure it out. I need to go down through the levels here. And I'm going to go to the spirits that are under us, and we're going to put strongholds and configurations on you to make you cause to sin and to turn away from God. And every one of these spirits is strong enough to kill us. But one thing that we have to know about God is God protects us. God does not leave us alone. He protects us in ways that we never see. And because we don't see them, we sometimes don't forget that God is protecting us. We see some ways that he protects us, but we don't see all of them. And I would say that it's like the tip of an iceberg when it comes to God's protection. We see about 10% of what he does to protect us, and he does about 90%. Because some of these spirits are in the 500 and 600 volt level. Remember we said that 666 represents voltage? These guys are probably in the 600 realm easily. And none of us can handle 600 volts. So you know that God is doing something behind the scenes that we can't always see. But one thing I know for sure is he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's got us covered. We don't have to worry about this hierarchy of spirits. All we need to know is that God is protecting us and we need to trust in him. So, as we close today, I just want to say this. I love all of you. I love talking to you. But we know this. If the Son has freed you, you are freed indeed. So goodbye, and God bless.